Activity book, page 46 to 49. Elementary, my dear Watson. First section, vocabulary. 1. Match the words from the reading with their meaning. Famous, known by a lot of people. Intelligent, clever, smart. Elementary, easy and not complicated. Pleasant, polite and easy loved. Absent-minded, mind is unfocused. Grammar, the past simple, irregular verbs. 2. Put the verbs in the table below in the past simple tense. Sit, sat, stand, stood, think, thought, become, became, know, knew. The comparative. Complete the text with the correct form of the comparative. Hercule Poirot is professional than Miss Marple. He is also rich than her, and he travels the world. Miss Marple's wise than Poirot. She is famous than him. We don't really know if she's old than Poirot, but we do know that she is pleasant. More professional, richer, wiser, more famous, older, more pleasant. The superlative. 3. Complete the text with the correct form of the superlative. Dr. Watson is the person to Sherlock Holmes. Holmes is the detective in the world. He is the detective Watson knows. He is not the person, but Dr. Watson doesn't mind and thinks that Holmes is the wise detective in history. More loyal, most famous, most intelligent, most logical, most pleasant, wisest. Second section, the past simple irregular verbs. Complete the text with the correct form of irregular verbs and practice. Perry Mason is a famous fictional detective. Errol Stanley Gardner made this character. He wrote more than 80 Perry Mason novels. Perry Mason's task was to find a silent on trial for murder. In the end, Mason always found proof of their innocence. Gardner sold 135 million copies of his books in America alone. In the year of his death, 1969. 2. Complete the text with the correct form of verbs in the box below. Pass, enjoy, be, read, help, write, solve. Mahmoud Salim, born in Alexandria in 1929, he useful and entertaining work of lecture for children. One of his best detective series was The Five Adventures, which was about 5 heroes who mysteries. Many generations of women and men who this series as children. them down to their children and grandchildren. Young readers his stories because there was no physical violence in them. His detective series showed values such as courage, justice, and cooperation, their imagination, and think logically by analyzing the events in order to find clues for solving mysteries. Was, wrote, solved, read, passed, enjoyed, helped. 4. Complete the text with the correct form of comparatives. More or less. Sherlock Holmes was more predictive than Watson. That's why Watson was than Holmes in his attempts at solving cases. He was too detailed than Holmes. As Holmes said, Watson saw, but he did not observe. However, Watson was naturally, and while Holmes was less successful, less attentive, more honest, more particular, more mysterious. What were the characteristics of the most famous detective? Sherlock Holmes was the detective in the world. Watson was Holmes' friend. He considered Holmes to be the roommate in the London because he was very untidy. However, he didn't have Holmes' brain, which was the of his time, so his success was limited. Most intelligent, most loyal, worst, most logical. 7. Use these words to make a question, then answer them. Sherlock Holmes is the most intelligent detective in story. Who is the most intelligent detective in story? Which is the best detective series of Mahmoud Salem? The best detective series of Mahmoud Salem is The Five Adventures. Which is more thrilling, a romantic novel or detective novel? A detective novel is more thrilling than a romantic novel. Whose detective series are more useful for children? Mahmoud Salim's detective series are more useful for children. Who is the most famous detective in history? Sherlock Holmes is the most famous detective in history. 8. Use the notes to write a paragraph. Who was Sherlock Holmes' greatest enemy? It was Professor Moriarty. He was the worst criminal in the stories of Sherlock Holmes. He did not like Sherlock Holmes and he wanted to stop his detective work. People said he was a genius. He was a scientist who worked in a university. People thought he was more intelligent than Holmes, but Holmes defeated him. Moriarty was less successful than Holmes. 9. Read the clues 1 to 8 and write the word historically in the puzzle you are. Third section. Read this extract from a detective story adapted from Mahmoud Salim's The International Smuggler. John Kent is an international thief. Police are looking for him because he stole old Egyptian treasure from a museum. They think he has gone to hide the treasure in his village, so they wait by all the road entrances. They hope to catch him and take the treasure back. They wait for a long time but never see him. At night, a group of visiting hunters were stopped by a strange man. He looked tired and was carrying lots of plastic bags. He wanted to know how they were able to see to hunt at night. They were pleasant and showed him the special cartridges they use to light the night sky. A while after he had left, they noticed that some of their cartridges they used to light the night sky. A while after he had left, they noticed that some of their cartridges were missing. Then they saw a light flash in the sky across the lake. The hunters crossed the lake, sending another flare into the sky. They saw a well and some empty plastic bags, just like the ones the strange man had been carrying. There was a rope in the well, but no bucket to get water. Above the water, it looked like there was a door, but the hunters just wanted to drink. They were thirsty after their hunt and managed to get water from the wall. As they did, they heard strange noises and became afraid. They called the police and talking about the clues. 1. Imagine you are a detective and have to find John Kent. Answer these questions as part of your investigation. A. The police waited at the road entrances to the village. How did John Kent get in? John Kent used an aeroplane for watering crops to get into the village. B. John Kent couldn't hide the statues during the day because the police would have seen him. What could he have used to help him see at night? He could have used flowers to help him see at night. C. There was no bucket to get water from the well. What did the hunters use to get water? The hunters used empty plastic bags to get water. D. There was water in the well, but what was making the strange noises? It was John Kent escaping through the hidden door in the wall. 2. Use the following clues to tell the police what has happened. Plane, cartridges, plastic bags. Well, John Kent used a plane to get into the village as the entrances were watched by the police. He used cartridges. 3. What do you think happened to John Kent? Could there be a way to escape? John Kent could have escaped through the hidden door in the wall. Complete this table with the corresponding dates: 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 10th, 20th. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 13th, 31st. Mr. Strange stole the signs because she didn't want to have any neighbors. Max and Nana found out because Mr. Strange was burying the signs in her fireplace on a very hot day in summer. What I have learned. 1. Read the text, then complete with the past simple from the verbs in practice. Once upon a time there was a very rich merchant. He traveled to different places to sell goods. One day he lost a bag full of money. He became poor and sold everything he had. In the meantime, a sheikh found the bag. He took the bag. He hid it away. He knew that he would return it one day. When the sheikh met the merchant, he gave it back to him, and the lost bag was restored to its owner. 2. Look at the information in the table. Write one comparative and one superlative sentence for each adjectives: old, pleasant, professional, logical, wise. 3. Choose the correct answer. 1. Holmes always in a logical way. Thought. 2. Miss Mirabel was wiser than Hercule Poirot. 3. Poirot was less interested in details than Holmes. 4. Poirot quality and thought to solve a crime. Sat. 5. Miss Mirabel is the most popular of women detectives.